And welcome to Of the People. I am Robert Chernin, and we're delighted to have with us presidential candidate Perry Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Delighted to be here.
Well, welcome to New Hampshire and the First in the Nation Summit. We do like our politics belly to belly and very retail.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, that is an understatement. So I want to jump right into this. I know your time is limited. We appreciate the time. Why you? Why are you different? What are the key issues you're running on? And we're talking directly to the people of New Hampshire who are going to, make a decision as to who they think gets a pass to the next election or the next primary in South Carolina.
Let's face it, I am the only guy with a plan to actually solve our problems. So
talk to me.
I wrote a book, 2 Cents to Save America. I lay out a 10-point plan on how we can solve this problem we have. Now, I personally believe the government spends too much money, and they're spending your money. And they're $33 trillion in debt. We only collect $3.9 trillion in taxes.
Right.
So right now, every American household has spent $610 per month just in the interest on our debt. And now we're borrowing money at 5%. Now, the reason it's so strong a point is that our entire strength depends on the strength of our economy. Our whole way of life depends on that. So it starts with that. But there are so many things we need to do to make sure that we have a secure, free world. We have the military we have to have. The military and the strength of the military is critical. And yet we're spending more money on our interest payment than we are in our military.
Servicing the debt.
Yes. And when you have to borrow money from China to the tune of sending them $74 million a day in interest payments, something's wrong. We have the greatest country the world has ever known. But this indebtedness is killing us because Washington doesn't care. They're spending your money like it's going out of style. And we have to stop it. Now, I've spent my entire life bringing quality and efficiency to companies. I'm essentially an efficiency expert. And I've been doing this for the last 35 years. I say, I know I'm an outsider, I know Washington can't stand me, and I know I'm going to take away their power because I'm going to take away all their money. But I say it's about time we have somebody like that in Washington.
And I would think most of America would agree with that. They're tired of the government spending other people's money, namely theirs. But how do you pay off the debt? Is it just that you're going to cut spending? Is it zero-based budgeting? What is it?
It starts, you have to change the thinking in Washington and the way that everything is run in the government. Right now, the government gets a budget. They go out of their way to make sure every penny of that is spent every year. In fact, they make sure they're broke every year so they can get more money the next year.
They spent more than they budgeted.
Well, but they do that. All the departments in the government. It's not just Washington. It's also all the people that work for the government because they get a budget. They're expected to spend every penny. They do that so they can get more money the next year. Now think of what a stupid way that is to run.
Makes sense.
So what we do is we then incentivize the people. We give the managers there a bonus provided they do this savings. If they don't engender the savings, they don't get a bonus. And we change their way of thinking. So they start thinking about ways to have greater efficiency and greater quality. And until we do that, we're going to be beset with this problem for the rest of our lives.
My concern as I delve into all of this is there's a push from China, obviously, for what I would call hegemony and to be the one superpower. And one of the things that they're doing is they're trying to supplant the U.S. currency as the international standard of monetary standard.
Of course, they try to buy oil. You'll notice they try to buy oil with yuan for the first time ever.
Correct. That's where I was going.
You realize that our way of life will be reduced by about 20% overnight if we are no longer the world currency. But then again, when you're $33 trillion in debt and you start printing money, don't you really endanger that as the world currency?
Makes sense.
Don't you put everything at risk?
Makes sense.
It isn't about time that we do something that needed to be done years ago, and now we're at a point where we have to make that move. And if we make it now, we can save America. That's why I wrote the book, 2 Cents to Save America.
Okay.
We can do it.
So let's talk. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's talk real quick. No time. We have to go. Folks, we've been listening. Perry Johnson, presidential candidate of the people. Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for joining us and taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule.
Oh, delighted. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Enjoy life.